And then going into programs, you have a couple, you said you're coming out with this upcoming year. So if you want to dive into them, maybe tell everyone what they are and maybe explain why you're doing them.
Oh man, these programs are exciting. So I'm going to talk about, they're all my favorite. I love all the programs. So I don't want to be like, I like this program more than this one.
Yeah.
This is not the right thing to say, but I am going to say it's going to be my favorite. My favorite program. Oh, I can't say that. I can't use the word favorite. Don't judge me, okay? Because they're all my favorite. But this one is very exciting. It's a special needs program. So I had spoke with one of the kids I work with. He has Down syndrome. His name is Brody. He's awesome. One of the coolest human beings on this freaking planet. This dude never has a bad day. He brings the energy. Brody is probably one of the coolest human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Like just being around him is like contagious. It's very energetic.
Yeah.
If you know anybody that has Down syndrome, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So I had talked to his mom I think it was in November, and I asked her, I was like, are there any other, because I know he does other programs, because there's a lot of programs that exist for special needs where it's helping them with like social skills, learning how to transition from like high school to adulthood, how to get a job, things like that.
Yeah.
And she's educated me a lot on, the things that special needs kids deal with, but one of them being their fitness. A lot of them deal with autoimmunes. A lot of them deal with weight. Thyroids don't work. So they're having to deal with health issues, and those symptoms get compounded over time and they get worse.
Yeah.
And I asked her, well, Brody's training with me. We're obviously trying to get that under control. I was like, what other programs exist that help out special needs community with their fitness and their health? And there wasn't that many. There's a lot of great programs. I will say that there's phenomenal programs. She sent me a list of all the programs that exist within the valley that's nearby.
Yeah.
And I think these programs are phenomenal. But I started looking specifically for like fitness and health, and like I didn't find any programs. So I said, wow. So I said, what do you think about me starting a program for special needs, helping them come here, work out, exercise, have fun? And she loved it. She was like, oh my God. Her reaction told me everything I needed to hear. I was like, okay, I'm doing this program. So so right now I am in the process of putting together a special needs program. That's probably going to be starting. I'm going to have to announce it, but it's going to be in the early part of either February, if not late January. That program is going to start. And I'm excited because there's another community of, health is the universal thing I'm doing, right? So whether I'm working with athletes, whether I'm working with adults, like I'm trying to get everybody healthy, and working with Brody for 5 years. And I've worked with other special needs kids, and some of them have gotten scholarships. It's been pretty cool. I'm like, wow, I was blown away that no programs existed. I was like why? And so that's probably the program that I'm very excited about. I don't want to say it's my favorite. It's a fun, exciting project. So I was thinking about calling it maybe like specialized strength. Unintended, right? Specialized strength.
That's a good one.
Don't know. I'm still trying to connect the dots. The other program is I started a homeschool program. Same concept. I teach a lot of speed and agility. I work with athletes. I think it's pretty obvious. My kids are homeschooled. They've been homeschooled for some years now. And I was like, man, I want a speed and agility program. I want a PE program that I would want to put my kids into. So I said, why not go build it? Why not go make that program? Yeah. So I created an entire curriculum. I looked at the California standards. It took me a while. It probably took me a few months of really putting the curriculum together. And I built a program for homeschoolers, and that community is booming. That's another awesome community. And I started that program. Well, we started that program in October. I want to say October, November.
It's been a little bit, yeah.
Maybe the end of October, I think.
Yeah.
Around Halloween.
Sounds about right.
So, and that program's going well. It's starting, the word's starting to get out. And I do know there's a lot of great programs out there already for homeschoolers. But I was like, you know what? I want to do PE, physical education, with a bias towards speed and agility. Because what I found is a lot of these homeschoolers, just like my kids, they all play sports. And if you go to look around town and like how many sports programs exist at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, like there's no programs, right? All these programs are for after school kids. So that's another program. I have so much fun. I know you've been doing it with me, and you know, the energy these kids bring, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it fun, but also educational. So you want to talk a little bit about how that program goes since you're in it?
I mean, it's been a lot of fun. We started off a little bit slow, but like you said, word got out and it's just been growing nonstop. And the whole point of the program is we're not trying to be too specific. We just want them to move, but we're teaching them how to move in different directions. Maybe other programs aren't being more specified in, because obviously we have the trainer background, and doing it in a fun way for them to get out and just have fun doing it. Obviously with high school athletes, we get a bit more serious with our training and stuff, but with them, we're purely just trying to get out, have a great time, have fun. We got so many guys, so many kids out there. I mean, like, shout out to Uzi, you know, the little guy who's just keeping up with all the older kids and just trying to run with them. So sometimes we get some kids out there that are just, you know, you look at them and they're just all energetic, all trying to get out there and have fun. And that's the energy we try to bring every day to the program is, hey, we're just trying to have fun, teach you how to move, teach you the language of movement, and just go with it.
And that's literally my number one goal, is make it fun. Is I want the kids to have a good relationship with fitness and exercise. I don't want them to see exercise as like a punishment. You know, we've all had those coaches that will punish you with fitness, right?
Yeah.
Do burpees, you're in trouble. Like, I don't want to do that. But I want to make it fun, but I also want to make it very educational. So every session, you know, we have a word of the day. That's the word that I teach them. At the end of the session, we go over like, what did we learn in the beginning? And what I've done with the PE program for the homeschool program is I started creating that speed encyclopedia. Remember I talked about that book?
Yeah.
Okay. So every time they learn a new word, I add it to their speed encyclopedia. And at the end of the month, I ask these kids like, okay, what's speed? What's power? What's agility? What's change of direction? What's balance? And I'm quizzing these kids, and they're getting the answers right. It's very impressive. And the reason I say this is impressive is because I know high schoolers who don't even know this terminology.
Yeah. I mean, when I started off doing it, until we started, honestly, the kids program has helped me out a lot with learning a lot of this terminology. And I think it's great that you implement that into a PE session, because they're now learning what movement is and how to move. So now when they become older and they become athletes themselves, they can now understand the actual definition and what movement is. So now if they go, oh, I need better change of direction. How many athletes are thinking that in their brain, there's like, oh, I just need to move. A lot of athletes are like, oh, I just got to be able to move better in that way. But they don't understand the actual intent of what they need to do to move better in that way. And that's what you're kind of teaching in these classes a lot too, is giving them the knowledge. So that way, when they get to that high enough level where their brain can actually take all that information and they can start using it for themselves to become better athletes.
Oh yeah. And one of the things I remember when I was a kid, PE was my favorite class. I was that kid, right? I look like forward to PE. I look forward to recess. And I'm like, man, I want to bring back that. So seeing the kids during the classes, I get a little nostalgia. I'm like, man, this is cool, man. I was like, man, these games are fun. And sometimes we'll jump in. Yesterday, we actually had some of the moms jump in, which is pretty cool. So that's one of the programs. So we have the special needs, specialized strength. We have the FSA, which is Functional Speed Academy PE program. And then we have the Olympic Games, the Youth Olympic Games, where once a month, I come up with a ton of events, individual events and team events. And we just have the kids compete for a couple hours. And that's been a lot of fun. We've done that twice. And I want to get that growing. And I think a lot of it too, indirectly, I'm trying to give kids exposure.
Yeah.
Meaning self-exposure. I want them to like try stuff and be like, oh, that was fun. Oh, that was cool. I didn't know I can do that. And so they're getting exposure to different movements, different sports, different scenarios. They're having fun. The whole time I want the word fun to be going through their mind over and over again.
Yeah.
The way we know they're learning is the Q&A. We ask them at the end, they're like, okay, they're actually learning. They're being quizzed on this. So the Youth Olympic Games, that's once a month. It's usually the last week of the month. I do a 2-hour event where we just have a ton of individual events, like a 20-yard dash, We did an agility shuttle. We've done a relay race. We've done flag football tournaments, rugby, flag football, tug of war. Like, we have a lot of cool events. I got a long list of events that I want to do, and it's just challenging their athleticism. And one of the cool things that I saw the first time we did the event was you'll have a kid that will dominate in one event and then just be mediocre in the next event.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool too. These kids are getting competitive. We gave them trophies, medals, it's pretty cool. So that is once a month. The homeschool program is the other 3 weeks out of the month. I do that on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Developmental time. So you got the Olympic Games to put it all together now for them to use, and then developmental periods for them to.
And then the other program that actually starts January 8th, and this is going to be another fun program. I've never done it with this age group, so with younger kids, but I'm going to do the FSA, the Football Speed Academy. So that's going to be starting January 8th, which is a Wednesday, and that's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Every Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a program where we're doing speed and agility with a bias towards football, right? Where we're learning motor skills, reaction time, learning how to have hand-eye coordination, proper mobility. We make sure that the kids aren't getting injured. So that program I'm excited about because I'm going to be coaching a Pop Warner team next year in August. And then this Saturday, I'm actually going to be coaching 2 teams for I-9, which is another great program if you want to introduce kids into sports.
Which I'll interrupt is also Coach Henry's birthday, so happy early birthday.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'll be coaching on my birthday, so I'm coaching both my sons, 2 separate teams back to back. So I'm coaching my kids.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I have a lot on my plate. The podcast, this takes up time as well, but all of it's exciting. Yeah. So if you're having fun, it doesn't feel like work, and the work is fun. So that's kind of always been my philosophy from the time I was a kid to as an adult, and now in my career. I was just like, look, let's have fun with this process, enjoy it. So, but